Good afternoon, Tallahassee. I am student meteorologist Josh Green with your Wednesday edition of FSU weather. You know, we've had a bit of a cloudy day today, but no rain in our area, which is a good thing. We're currently sitting at 86 degrees, partly cloudy skies, as you can see right behind us here with a nice look at Doak Campbell Stadium with winds coming in the south-southeast at around 9 miles per hour, so a little breezy, nice walk home from work or class. We're currently at 86 degrees in Tallahassee, very similar temperatures throughout our viewing area, a bit to the north in Thomasville, 85. Down south in Apalachicola, 83. Now in Tallahassee, we haven't had any rainfall today. A bit to the south, we've got some pop-up showers around Panama City, and we've got just some moisture in our area. The Atlantic remains active. We may see some steady temperatures in Tallahassee, and the rain chances return next week. All this and more on FSU weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to FSU Weather Wednesday edition. It's been a nice day here in Tallahassee, but still a bit hot and humid as we're used to for our summer conditions. Not really feeling those cool, dry temperatures that we saw last week, unfortunately. But we have a lot coming forward. Looking at rain chances starting back up again, the first time we've been having rain since that front came through the other week. Definitely not looking forward to that, especially with that game this weekend. Hopefully that rain will hold out for the game at 3:30, but there is a chance that we could see some rain coming through. Over most of the country, there is some areas that are getting no rainfall and some that are getting a lot of rainfall, which you may want to look out for. See if you can spot the cold front during the show today before we can even point it out. There's a few of them out there you might be able to see. As for this weekend, again, just something to look out for. We'll have to look at our current temperatures in just a second. There's also Tropical Storm Victor that just formed a little while ago, just off the coast of Africa. That is also something to watch out for. Sam is currently on the move still as well, and we have one name left on that hurricane list for this year before we make it onto the supplemental list. So we've definitely had an active season. It's just a lot going on, and that season's not over yet. So you're just going to have to stay up to date and stay prepared. We'll talk to you more later on in the show about tropical storms and hurricanes and how to tell where they're going based off of spaghetti models that you may or may not know a whole lot about. It's definitely not spaghetti, though. We'll just get that clear. As for tonight, there's rain ahead, and we'll be seeing a lot warmer temperatures continuing throughout the week. I know a lot of people aren't looking forward to that, but it doesn't look like we'll be having a cold front here anytime soon, despite those cold fronts that are throughout much of the country right now. But that's all we have for right now. We're going to take it over to Josh and take a look at our local weather so you can see exactly what's in store for the next week here in Tallahassee.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Yeah, we've got a great show planned, but right now, let's look a bit more locally. Here's a nice look at Doak Campbell Stadium with those partly cloudy skies that we've seen throughout the day. It's currently 86 degrees right now with winds coming out of the south-southeast at around 9 miles per hour. All this green right here is actually not rain, it's just moisture in our area that the radar is picking up. We can see some rain showers a bit to our southwest though, making its way through Panama City, a couple pop-ups down in Apalachicola as well. For some historic temperatures that we've seen today, our high was 90 degrees, our average is around 86, so we're definitely a bit higher than average, but we have not touched our record of 95, and we certainly aren't anywhere near our record low of 46, as we've been seeing pretty warm temperatures definitely throughout this week. Right now in Tallahassee, it's 86 degrees, very similar temperatures throughout the viewing area. A bit to the north in Gainesville, we're at 85, and down south in Apalachicola, we are at 83. It's a bit muggy outside. We saw that on the radar. That's what all those little green specks were. 66 degrees at the dew point here in Tallahassee. Down south in Apalachicola, it's 68, and a bit to our east in Madison, it is currently 69 degrees for the dew point. For the future radar in the next 24 hours, we're just going to see a lot of cloud cover come through and possibly some pop-up showers throughout our area, so we could see a few rain showers throughout your day, but nothing really major to impact any plans that you may have. Over the next 24 hours, here's our accumulative rainfall totals. Tallahassee should not be seeing any more than maybe like 0.5 to 0.05 inches of rain. A little bit to our west, we might see a little bit more. For tonight, Tallahassee, we're going to get down to a low of 69 degrees. Down south in St. Mark's, 72. A bit to our north in Thomasville, they're going to be getting down to 66 degrees. Over in Valdosta, they'll be getting to 67. As for tomorrow, we're going to see these warm temperatures continue. 90 degrees will be the high here in Tallahassee. I know last week everyone got really excited when we started seeing those cold temperatures, but we're back to some summer temperatures for now, so hopefully we'll see those kind of diminish as we make our way through. Down south in St. Mark's, it's going to be 87 degrees, a bit to our north in Quincy and Bainbridge. It's also going to be around 89 degrees, so very similar temperatures throughout the viewing area. But for now, Melissa's going to give us a look around Florida.
That's right, Josh. We're going to take a zoom out. We're still seeing those warm temperatures across most of Florida right now as well. Not seeing those cool temperatures that we liked over the past week. As we see a Florida radar, you see that big rain system sitting over there. If you can't spot the front there, though, because there is none. That's just a rain system moving its way through, not associated with any fronts, so we won't be seeing a temperature change from that anytime soon. As for the Panhandle, as Josh was saying, not actually storms or rainfall happening over Tallahassee. That's just moisture in the air, so nothing to look out for tonight. Maybe a few showers down in Panama City and Blountstown. As for Panama City, though, 80 degrees and mostly cloudy right now. So bit warm, bit cloudy, and a little bit of a breeze coming through, so hopefully that'll help keep it a little bit cooler. Taking a zoom out and looking at much more of the Big Bend area, see those scattered showers popping up here and there. Nothing overly concerning to look out for, pretty clear conditions. North Florida seeing much of the same, dry and clear, not dry, but clear conditions over the entire northern part of Florida. In Gainesville, it's currently 85 degrees and mostly sunny, so again, seeing those warm conditions and actually some sunshine peeking through those clouds there. South Florida, still seeing much of the same thing, and that's due to that high pressure system that is currently sitting over all of Florida, so that's why we're seeing just clear skies, not a lot of rainfall besides a few little scattered showers here and there. As for Miami, also 85 degrees and partly cloudy with a bit of a breeze. Again, hopefully helping you guys cool off a little bit. Not the most desirable conditions, especially since we're getting more into our fall time of year. Current conditions, 89 in Tampa, 84 in Key West, 86 in Tallahassee, so we're actually a little bit on the warmer side up here. Still seeing those warm temperatures, and our dew points are not helping us out at all right now. 62 in Tampa, 66 in Tallahassee, and 72 in Pensacola. I know when I walk outside, my hair just poofs up. Nobody is enjoying this humidity right now. Once again, you can see that system of storms that is moving through. That'll be dissipating over the next 24 hours. And again, warm temperatures seen across pretty much the entire state. Not much is going to be changing over the next few days. As for tonight in Florida, 73 in Tampa, 77 in Miami, 80 in Key West, and actually 68 in Tallahassee. So cooling off to be a bit nicer tonight, which will be great for us here. Tomorrow, 92 in Tampa, 86 in Key West, and 89 in Tallahassee. So yet another warm day for tomorrow. Hopefully that'll be cooling off, but doesn't look like it'll be doing so anytime soon. Meanwhile, in other parts of the country, we are seeing some pretty cool temperatures, and Josh is going to take a look at that with you guys.
That's right, Melissa. You know, unfortunately, down here in the south, we're the only area seeing those 90-degree temperatures, as always, around this time of year. Here's some current temperatures around the U.S. Here in Tallahassee is 86 degrees. A bit to our north in D.C., it's 71. In the Midwest here in Chicago, it's 78. Down south in Dallas, they're also at 90 degrees, so they're seeing pretty similar temperatures to us. Over here in the mountainous regions in Denver, it's a low of 54 right now, so they're definitely cooled down. And in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle is currently sitting at 56. Here's some dew points right now. You can see this stark contrast. So we've got very moist air to the east and very dry air to the west. This is a very typical pattern that we may be seeing. And you know, when there's rainfall in the area, these dew points definitely shoot up because there's more moisture in the air. That's why down here in New Orleans, they're seeing all that rain right now. They have a dew point of 72. Up north in the northeast, they're a bit lower. Boston right now at 47, so it's pretty dry up there in the tri-state area. For our wind speed and directions right now, Denver is pretty high at 17 miles per hour. We should see some rain in that area, so it's probably associated with that. Down here in Tallahassee, we're definitely a bit calmer at only 2 miles per hour, and a majority of the eastern coast is also very low, mostly under 10 miles per hour. Here's a nice surface map right now, including a radar. We'll start out west. We've got a couple low pressure systems right now, not bringing too much rainfall, with a stationary front sitting over a majority of the southwest. The Pacific Northwest has a high pressure system right now that's dominating their area, so they won't see too much rain. Moving a bit to the east in the Great Plains, here we can spot the cold front with that low pressure system bringing a lot of rain up north into the Dakotas and eventually into Minneapolis. Right here, we've got a lot of rain coming into Texas because of this dry front right here, a big storm maker, especially for the South and Oklahoma. Here's all that rain that was down in the Gulf Coast surrounding Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. Down here in Central and South Florida, they're being also dominated by a high pressure system that's going to keep the rainfall out of that area. And we've got another stationary front sitting over the Midwest area. This upper level water vapor map kind of shows you where the rainfall is. You can see a lot of reds and purples down here. That's all that rainfall down in the Gulf Coast right now, with that front that's pushing a lot of this rainfall more towards the eastern coast. But besides that, it's pretty dry around the nation, right, except for Denver that we saw a lot of rain and winds. Right now in the Northwest, Seattle, always going to see that rainfall coming off the Pacific Ocean. Over in the Great Plains region, we've got the Dakotas. We've seen a lot of rain pushing up through there because of the cold front that we spotted earlier. In southern Canada right now, they're getting a lot of rainfall. It looks like we've got a bit of a mid-latitude cyclone moving through their area, something to watch out for. More towards us right now in the western Gulf, here's all that rainfall, especially over Louisiana and also southern Mississippi and Alabama. Down here in Corpus Christi, Texas, they've also got a lot of rainfall that's kind of moving off the coast right now, so they shouldn't have to worry about that too much. For our watches and warnings, very clear throughout the nation. We've got a couple flash flood warnings where we see that rain, especially near Denver, but nothing else besides that. For our storm outlook today, all across the south and heading into the Great Plains, they've got a slight chance of thunderstorms, especially down here in Dallas because of that dry front. So that's something to watch out for, but not too dangerous, especially zooming in to the west of Dallas all the way down to San Angelo. They've got a marginal risk of storms as well. As for tonight, we're going to see cool temperatures, especially in the west, Salt Lake City getting down to 47 tonight. Over here on the East Coast, we're going to have very moderate temperatures, 65 here in Atlanta. Up north, we cool down a bit in Boston at 50 degrees. As for tomorrow, very warm in the southeast, but moving towards the west, it definitely gets a bit cooler. 63 will be the high in Denver. But for now, Melissa's going to give us a little talk about spaghetti models.
Thanks, Josh. So as I talked about earlier in opening desk, we are going to talk to you a little bit about spaghetti models and help you understand exactly what we're talking about when we bring up spaghetti models. So unfortunately, it isn't a giant bowl of spaghetti. It is actually a visual representation of where a storm is likely to go. A plot of possibilities for tropical storms center track. So it's basically where models are predicting the center of the storm could go, but that's not where the storm will necessarily stick to. It's a tool for understanding the trends in the storm's development and predict where and how it's going to develop and if it's going to impact land potentially. So it's not a final forecast. It's just a prediction of where the storm may go. The storm, as it develops, will change the spaghetti models to accommodate for it. Models are affected by model biases or slight errors in the initial conditions for the storms, because we can't get an exact reading of what is going on in those storms when they're way out over the Atlantic. So there are chances for those models to be wrong, and those slowly show as the storm begins to progress. It's important to understand these spaghetti models and plot in context, because it's not a definite saying of where this storm is going to go. You have to understand that it just gives you an idea of where it may go, not actually where it will go. So that's our spaghetti model right now for Hurricane Sam. You see, most of the models are in pretty good consensus right now that it's going to turn northward and continue up past Maine. But again, this is not a definite forecast. It is where the storm is likely to go, but it is not where the storm is necessarily going to stick to. And the storm's impacts can be felt very far out from where that is, because that's just where the center of the storm is predicted to be. So whenever you're looking at these models, just make sure you're not taking them completely literally, but do keep them in mind that they are a good predictor of where the storm may go and to tell if you should worry about where the storm is going and how soon you should start to prepare. So hopefully it'll help you out when we start our hurricane section here in a few minutes. But for right now, we're going to pass it back over to Josh. We can take another look at what our local conditions are right now.
Thank you, Melissa, for that. It's always important to understand all these different hurricane models that you may be seeing, especially living down here in the Gulf Coast. Always want to know what's going on in case a storm is coming so you can explain to yourself and your friends the possibility of dangers. Right now in Tallahassee, it's 86 degrees. We've seen a high today of a high 90 degrees. Our record, although, is 95, so we didn't touch that. Our low today was 65. Our average is around the same at 66, but that record low of 46, we definitely did not get anywhere near that, but hopefully we will be soon. Hour by the hour today, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., you're sitting around the mid-60s, and then we definitely saw that shoot up all the way into the low 80s. And then right around our peak temperature at around 4 p.m., we get up to the upper 80s, and I know we even touched the low 90s today, so very warm out there. Our current radar, we see a lot of moisture in our area, but this is not rainfall. You can tell if you go outside right now, it's definitely not raining. Unless you're down here more towards the Gulf Coast, Panama City, Apalachicola, you could be seeing some pop-up showers with actually some strong rain coming through there right now. Taking a look more regionally, here's a lot of rain over in New Orleans right now. This is slowly going to dissipate as it makes its way across, but it's going to be a big rainmaker for southern Louisiana and also southern Mississippi. Over the next 24 hours, we're going to see a lot of cloud cover come through, partly cloudy, just like we saw today, but we shouldn't see many rain showers, possibly some pop-ups throughout the day. So make sure, maybe just keep an umbrella in your backpack just in case. These pop-ups shouldn't last any more than about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Right now in Tallahassee, it's 86 degrees, very similar temperatures throughout our viewing area down here in St. Mark's, a bit cooler at 84 degrees. For tonight, we're going to get down to a moderate 69 degrees, very similar throughout the viewing area as well. A bit to our east, it's going to be a little bit cooler, Valdosta at 67, Perry very similar to us at 69. Tonight, we're going to see these partly cloudy conditions continue. Our low should be in the upper 60s, around 67 degrees. We should also be seeing some calm winds as well, so not a bad night at all. For tomorrow, we're going to be getting up to a high of 90 degrees here in Tallahassee, very warm. We're going to see very similar temperatures throughout the viewing area as well. For the dog walk forecast, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., 72 degrees when you take the pup out in the morning, pretty nice temperature. At noon, we're going to get up into the mid to upper 80s throughout the afternoon, so it's definitely going to get warm. I'd probably take that pooch out for a walk earlier in the morning. For the week ahead, we're going to see warm temperatures continue. We've got a football game coming up on Saturday, possibly some storms coming up early next week. But for now, Melissa's going to give us a look around the southeast.
Actually, we're going to take a look at the tropics first. We're going to move off land and into the Atlantic. So hopefully you learned a little bit more about spaghetti models at our desk just a few minutes ago, because we're going to be getting into that in here in just a second. Looking at Hurricane Sam right now, currently a Category 4 hurricane. This thing has been holding on. It was a Category 3 and went back up to a Category 4. 130-mile-per-hour winds, 945 millibar pressure, and moving northwest at 9 miles per hour right now. See that beautiful storm right now, that clear eye. Still hanging on and still out churning in the Atlantic. That water vapor, you can see that moist air towards the center, drying out as you get further away from the storm. And there's our projected path. So Thursday at 2 a.m., looking at 140 miles an hour wind and hanging on to that 140 mile an hour wind until about Friday at 3 p.m. We're going to probably drop only down to 130. And then finally going back down to a Cat 3 on Saturday at 3 a.m. And then slowly decreasing to a Cat 2 and a Cat 1. So as it continues northward, it will begin to weaken, and hopefully it'll stay off land, but there is potential for it to have some rainfall thrown towards the northeast. So something to look out for. And here we have our spaghetti model, as we talked about, showing consensus that Hurricane Sam is going to make a northward turn and most likely going to stay off of the coast and not really have any impact to the United States. But again, that's not where the storm is positively going to go. It's just an idea of where it may go. So you still want to stay up to date and keep an eye out on how that storm is progressing. As for our ILS satellite, Tropical Storm Victor has formed as of a little while ago. It is currently a tropical storm with 40-mile-per-hour winds and moving west-northwest with 13 miles per hour. So it's definitely something you're going to want to look out for. This thing could move closer to the U.S., but we'll have to watch over time. Water vapor showing that moist air where that storm is developing. And that path showing a northward turn at this time. so not expected to make any impact in the U.S., but still, again, you're going to want to stay up to date and keep an eye on what the storm is doing. Looking like it might turn into a Category 1 hurricane in the coming days before weakening back into a tropical storm yet again. And here is another one of our spaghetti models. Again, not spaghetti. It's moving up, and one of our models has it going off to the west further, but most of them have pretty much agreed that is going to make a northward turn and not come anywhere near the U.S. So shouldn't be too worried about what that storm is going to be doing. We also have Invest 91L just in front of Tropical Storm Victor that is trying to develop, but it doesn't look like it's going to have much of an effort, much of a chance to develop because it is being crowded out by Victor at this time. Not too much to worry about. Water vapor again, showing some moist air. And another disturbance up towards Maine, more disturbance too. Only a 10% chance of developing right now. Not expected to develop, not much to look out for. So nothing to be overly concerned about. Water vapor showing that moist air yet again over the area. And just keep an eye out on a lot of your tropical things. We've had a lot of storms this year, and we only have one name left on our current list. So we have a lot going on and a lot more to come, so just stay up to date. But for now, we're going to take it back onto land and look at our southeast forecast.
Thank you very much, Felissa. It's been a very active hurricane season, just as we've seen this trend continue over the past few years. So it's always important to make sure that you keep an eye on these storms, even if they're way out in the Atlantic. Here's some cams right now around the southeast. Gainesville right now, 85 degrees. They've also got partly cloudy skies. Atlanta's got very clear skies right now. That's a very nice city line view. 82 degrees, very similar in the rest of the southeast as well. Currently in Tallahassee, it's 86 degrees. When you make your way south towards South Florida, 89 in Tampa right now, 84 in Miami, a bit to the north, 83 in Atlanta. And out west right now in Little Rock, it is 82 degrees with a lot of rain in the New Orleans area. That's why they've got very high dew points. It's very, there's a lot of moisture down south there right now. They've got a dew point of 72 degrees. A bit more to the northeast, Atlanta is a bit lower, so it's drier there. We saw those clear skies. That's a great indicator of a low dew point. 60 degrees there in Atlanta. Down south in Miami, they're a bit higher at 69 degrees. Here's all that rain right now in the Gulf Coast. New Orleans is getting the brunt of it right now. This system looks like it's dissipating, though, as time goes on. It's a bit of moving north right now in through Mississippi, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, especially near the areas of Jackson. Zooming in more towards metro New Orleans, they had a lot of storms a bit to the west of the city, which seem to have dissipated. They've got a lot coming up from the south, though, so they're going to have to keep an eye on that. You may see some possible flash flood warnings pop up in that area over the next 1 to 2 hours, and maybe. But for the rest of the southeast, they're not seeing much rain, especially here in Florida and Georgia. Nothing to pick up really on the radar. For our storm outlook today, more towards the western half of the southeast is where they're going to have to keep an eye out on things, but still they're very non-severe storms, just some heavy rainfall here and there. The rainfall forecast for the next 24 hours, we could see some possibly up to 5 inches in some areas in southern Mississippi, possibly a bit to the east of New Orleans. Down here in southern Louisiana also could be picking up 5 to 7 inches. So those scattered showers are no joke. They could definitely make an impact in your area. The rain will continue out west, though, as we see that big blob of green. So very light to moderate rains just in that area, with a temperature of 74 here in Tallahassee for Friday, and a bit to the south, 77 there in Miami. All right, and as we move on from the southeast, Melissa is going to give us a look at our lifestyle forecast.
That's right, we got our football game this weekend, and I know we've been losing a lot lately, but hopefully we can pull off a win this week. I know I'm excited. I'll be at the game, tailgating and cheering our team on whether we win or lose. But looking at our area cameras right now, see some nice weather and our weather stem. See those partly cloudy conditions over Tallahassee right now? We'll see that sunset beginning here in a little bit. Hopefully it'll be a nice sunset tonight. So looking at a good start to our Thursday. Airport delays. If you're planning on heading out, it looks like a good time. No delays are expected, and it's going to be sunny conditions and high at 86. So you have a nice flight off to wherever you're going, as long as you're not flying into any stormy areas. As for airport delays, no delays expected, as I said. 86 degrees in Tallahassee, 83 in Atlanta. Looking at a bit cooler temperatures if you're headed out west, 54 in Denver, 71 in Los Angeles. So you might want to bring a sweater with you if you're going out to one of those places. You might get off the plane feeling a bit cold. For your dog walk forecast, 68 at 7 a.m., 72 at 9 a.m., and 82 at 11 a.m. So if you're planning on taking your dog out for a walk, you may want to go a little earlier in the morning. Otherwise, you're probably not going to enjoy it too much. And I think your dog will thank you too. As for your Leech forecast, 89 today, 89 tomorrow, and 87 on Friday. But you're going to be indoors, so hope that heat won't be quite as bad. And sunny conditions, so you don't have to worry about getting rained on your way there. For our football game on Saturday, 89 degrees and at 3:30 with sunny conditions, so it's going to be a hot game. Make sure you stay hydrated and you're keeping yourself out of the heat if you're feeling like you're getting heat stroke or getting overheated. As for your school week planner, 90s, 89, and 86 on Sunday, so continuing warm conditions, but hopefully a little cooler at night and some sunny conditions as well. But now we're going to pass things over to Josh.
Thanks, Melissa. So yeah, we've got a lot going on in our show today, especially around the country. We saw so many different fronts and moving systems that's bringing a lot of different weather to different parts of the country. So depending where you are, it's very different right now. But here down south in Tallahassee, we've had very, very warm temperatures, pretty much the warmest in the nation. You know, we had that high of 90 degrees, which is going to continue into tomorrow. And even through the weekend, we're going to see highs in the upper 80s with those lows a little more moderate in the upper 60s. So honestly, not that bad when you go out at night, especially in the early mornings when you want to go out for a walk or something like that. It's kind of great weather right now, but moving into latter portions of the week, you know, we're going to see some possible thunderstorms as we move into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but 83 degrees will be the high on Wednesday, so we might be seeing these temperatures kind of drop down a bit. And speaking of rain, you know, we've seen a lot in the Gulf Coast, especially today, yesterday, moving into tomorrow. Always something you got to keep an eye out for if you live in those areas. You could see some possible flash flood warnings even. We saw 5 to 7 inches of rain possible in southern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. So it's definitely no joke with these pop-up showers. In the tropics, you know, we've still got Sam, very strong, good-looking Category 4 hurricane. We've got a new tropical storm that's popped up, and we've also got a lot of invests throughout the area. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. But as for now, give us a follow on Twitter, FSU Weather. You can also like us at Facebook at the same tag, FSU Weather. And also every weekday at 6 p.m., we are streaming live on YouTube at FSU Weather. So make sure to tune in like you could be right now. Also, try to give us a follow on Instagram. We love to see your pictures and all that. But for now, I'm Josh Green signing off. Here's another look at our 7-day forecast.